Yo, what's good? It's your boy Jay, back at it again, and today we got Modern Dating is a Disaster by Shea Petrov. I got it. You already know what the deal is, man. Follow me on both J's here and J's there. Keep supporting the channels. Love y'all. Without further ado, let's get started.
I was strongly considering divorce. I have an amazing husband.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell.
I asked him about like Black Lives Matter, and so today I can't.
Who did you vote for?
I'm a very liberal woman. Let me see if he's learned anything from me.
Hey guys, today we're talking about some viral videos that are causing a lot of chaos online, definitely not helping out the
And
gender
it looks like all of them are on TikTok. Yay.
war. So we're going to be taking a look at that, but before we start, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell. Let's start with this first one, where this woman discusses why she almost divorced her husband. A lot of people are upset.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering
The
divorce.
one thing I do not understand about any of these, I'm going to divorce so-and-so, is like, if you want to undergo this action or you're debating whether you should do it or not, why on earth are you uploading it on TikTok for where everybody can see it? That's what I don't get. That's what I just don't understand. Right? You're uploading this on TikTok where everybody can see it. Everybody can, view this. It just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't understand it. Because now you're posting something to where everybody can see it, everybody can view it, and it's going to get shared, it's going to get liked, people are going to talk about it in videos. So your husband or someone he knows or someone you know is going to see this, and they're going to send it to him. They're going to relay it. So why do it and spread all this personal business on the web? Especially if you're not, like, if you're a YouTuber or a content creator, that's different because this is your job. You're trying to make money. But if you're a random person, why do this? I never saw the point in this.
And I want to talk
Like, at least do it anonymously.
about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full-time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal.
So why are you trying to divorce him? He seems kind, loyal, does what he needs to do. She's saying this herself. She also says he's a great dad. So why are you trying to divorce this man? Y'all seem like y'all living pretty decent.
He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for? But I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. The dishes were put away and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. He does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets. And there was this one morning where I woke up. I went to put something in the trash, and it was overflowing. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because
Yeah, this seems like one of those relationships where this nigga like kind of like the lackey on some shit. Like that nigga. How dare you not take out the trash? Like, why not have one of the kids take that shit out? Like, I feel like once you 9, you should know how to take the trash out or something. And even if he forgets, like, how often is he forgetting? How often is he forgetting to take the trash out?
what he's done has now made me late.
First of all, I find this all deeply personal, right? If your marriage almost...
Why even discuss this with TikTok and not your spouse? Why not your family, your close friends? Why with random strangers on the internet?
ended. I feel like first, obviously you would communicate with each other, not the entire internet, without a chance to respond. We don't get to hear his perspective. And even with everything she said, that he was perfect on paper, right? Loyal, kind, emotionally present with the kids, she still almost divorced him because he did not take out the trash when he was running late for work.
And I felt so frustrated, and I remember thinking...
Yeah, work goes over the trash. Like, if I wake up and I see the trash ain't taken, I'm like, you know what, that it is what it is, but taking out the trash takes like 2 minutes tops. You wrap that shit up, you go outside, bam, Get a best. Taking out the trash as a chore is not labor intensive at all.
What's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love
But
me.
what's the point? Like, okay, her reasoning for her not liking her husband or having grievances with him is he's not doing enough. I need more. I need more. She said that from her mouth. She said that women carry the brunt of the mental load and carrying children, right? So why would you... All right, two parties. Y'all are both raising kids. Y'all are both working full-time. Very busy life. Okay. Why would you then think, okay, I get rid of my husband, so now I have to work full-time and raise 4 kids without someone helping me? But that's supposed to make this easier. Like, I'm not understanding I'm not understanding her thought process.
Me or he did anything to me, and it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages, and we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. In most homes, the data supports this. Women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon.
Men tend to work more, right? There are more stay-at-home moms than there are stay-at-home dads. That doesn't mean that stay-at-home dads don't exist. It doesn't mean that you can't try and delegate your house chores in a more equitable manner, but that's more common.
So we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it.
You guys are both working full-time, correct? She's saying
Yes.
that she was burned out, right? Overwhelmed. She's cooking, she's cleaning, but then she also has a job. I do get why this video is so viral because it taps into something that so many modern couples are dealing with. Women are told, work on your career, then if you want to get married, if you want to have kids, then you can do that. Okay, so then once you have this job and then you have kids, you're still expected to be the chef, the cleaner, the scheduler. So yeah, I totally understand how that sort of situation can be
It can
extreme.
definitely be stressful. I'm just not seeing how when she said I might have to divorce my husband, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't understand how that was gonna make the raising the kids easier if you're doing everything by yourself. Right? Because we as a society are trying to do away or trying to get rid of traditional norms. Like, you can be anything you want to be. You can do what you want. You don't need to hear by tradition. However, tradition's been a thing for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it's worked. I'm not going to say everything they did back in the days was just, but in some way, the institution of marriage and relationships worked for hundreds of thousands of years. In post-World War II, we tried to change it and do all this fiddling, and now 80-something years after World War II, which is in living memory, we're seeing it fall apart in front of our eyes, right? There's a reason why this shit was set apart, right? And obviously the economy has to do with this, politics has to do with this, social cohesion has to do with this. It's a lot of factors. It's not just one going into why relationships aren't working. I've watched a lot of videos based on that type of topic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's rough out here.
Exhausting. However, you chose to have a full-time job. Your husband is also working. The solution is not necessarily, oh, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna have like a 1950 setup. No. I mean, that's what you want to do.
I mean, if you want to do that, but I can't blame her for being tired. Right? I don't know her home life, right? Having to raise 4 kids and work full-time does not sound easy. Right? And a lot of couples have to both have worked full-time jobs. Some even work like 2 full-time jobs to make ends meet because of how expensive living in urban areas is now.
That's what you want to do. But what most couples nowadays do is that they kind of divide the workload at home so that it's not so overwhelming.
Yeah, one person can maybe clean and do the dishes. The other person folds the laundry, sweeps the floors, mops, wipes off the counters, stuff like you divide the work. You say, I do A, B, and C. You do D, E, and F.
For one person. You could be like, hey, could you take out the trash next time? Yeah, I don't understand why divorce would even be going through your mind if he's perfect. You're literally describing...
Yeah, she said he was perfect and he was a great father. Why divorce him? Why divorce him if he's A, a good dad, and B, if you want to have less work? It doesn't equate to me.
Describing him as a perfect guy. Another viral video right now is this Chappell Roan clip where she's on Call Her Daddy, that amazing podcast that Kamala was on, if you can remember.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell.
I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has children at this age. I have like a 1-year-old, like 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has like light in their eyes, anyone who has slept.
Okay, so here is her personal perspective. She says she doesn't have any friends that are happy with kids. She doesn't see the light in their eyes navigating the early stages of parenthood. And I get why so many moms felt defensive because, you know, that's quite the statement. Motherhood can be very complicated, right? For some, it is the most profound, the most purposeful chapter in their life. And for others, it can just be overwhelming, isolating, especially if they do it out of pressure or under the wrong circumstances, right? But again, for many, it brings joy, meaning, identity. Both things can be true. Depends on the woman. I don't think Chapel here is saying that all children ruin lives. That's how so many people were reacting to it. How dare she say this? Guys.
Nah, it's a lot of this is personal experience. You feel me?
This is her experience, okay? She's talking about the people she knows. Another question that really should be on your mind if you are thinking about being a mother is, can you give this child a safe, loving environment? A lot of people become parents just because they feel like they have to when they can't even take care of themselves.
If you can't take care of yourself, don't try to take care of a kid. Don't try to do that. Cause now then you realize, oh, I gotta feed this little dude. Gotta clothe this little dude. I gotta teach him life lessons. I gotta make sure he's constantly supervised. Gotta do this, that, and the third. Like, you're signing up for a lot if you want to be a parent, bro. You're asking to have a lot of work done if you went to be a parent, bro. Like, I ain't gonna front, bro.
And then the children struggle. It's not like, oh, let me just get a little doll, a cute little accessory. No, that's a kid. That's a human being. You have to really think about that.
No, you can get a dog and not be the best owner, but if you get a kid, you gotta lock in, bro. You gotta be focused, like on some real shit.
Yeah, no. This clip, I don't know. I think it's a bit of an overreaction. She did not say that kids are evil or that there are no happy mothers. She just doesn't know any. Her experience is going to be very different from the average woman. Chappell Roan is a famous singer, lesbian, like pop star who hangs out with drag queens. Her relationship to traditional milestones like marriage, like parenthood, are going to be different. And fulfillment looks different for different people. So let's move on. Megyn Kelly also said this. I want to play this because I agree with her.
How did we get to the point where we're now telling young, conservative, amazing women that they're not attractive if they also work? If they choose to, let's say, do what I'm doing, get their voice out there. Well, why wouldn't we want that? Why would we take somebody who's talented in this field and really wants to make a difference and have the messaging to her be, you're really not that valuable unless you give it up and go into the home and only have a family and only raise a family. And not only are we sending her that message, but young men are actually believing that. They're actually believing it, especially on the right, because like the trad mom has gotten.
My thing is that you as a person, right, if you're a woman or a man, regardless of what career you want to do, you need to understand that there's checks and balances when it comes to life, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be mad if a woman wants to work. Make your own money. Sustain yourself. I'm never going to be mad at somebody who wants to work, get their own money, and to put their name out there for themselves. However, you just need to understand that if you want to work a full-time job and have a family, you just need to understand that it's going to be a lot of work for you to do, right? If you're willing to do that, then cool. If not, you may want to rethink about your decisions and what you want out of your life. That's how I view it. I don't think there's one correct way to do a relationship, right? Some people think it's just tradition. I speak about it early in this video, how we try to abandon tradition almost entirely and how that's falling apart. But there's nothing inherently wrong with having a woman work or having just both the men and the women work, because you have to do that in some instances. Some people don't make enough money so where they can just support. A lot of households, I'd say most households, do not have enough money, or one person isn't making enough money for that person just be able to make bank so everyone lives right. No, the woman has to pick up a job so they can make ends meet. So I'm not going to sit there and say, just be traditional, when obviously that wouldn't work in a lot of these areas. So you just need to figure that out for yourself and what would work. I don't think there's a tradition. I don't think that there's a specific wrong way to live a relationship. Or more, let me rephrase it. I don't think there's a specific right way to have a relationship. There's definitely a lot of wrong ways, but I don't think there's a specific right way, like 100% you have to live like this. No, people have different lives, different experiences, different thought process. What may work for B may work okay for A. It may just be horrible for C. You feel me?
and so popular. And it's like, no, if we do that, we're not going to have any strong conservative or right-leaning women to provide a role model for younger conservative women who don't necessarily want to spend all their 20s and their 30s getting married and having kids, or can't. They just weren't able to meet somebody, and definitely don't need to be shamed over it.
Not only that, you're going to take the more moderate women and they're going to go to the left, because they're going to hear that from some people on the right, of course, not all, but some. Oh, you have to get back in the kitchen, you can't work, whatever. They're going to be like, yeah, okay, that. I don't want to be anywhere near that, because, you know, a lot of them will feel pressured into doing something that they may not want to do, and that is not the outcome that we need. Okay, we need more balanced individuals, men and women, and so this is just so stupid. It's just so exhausting to hear from people who have such a black and white way of thinking, and the idea that someone is...
I think a lot of this discourse and issues when it comes to gender or dating is caused by pupil, you know what I'm saying, master disciple and all that, but people having such a black and white view. You got the red pill niggas in one corner, you know. You could throw in like people like maybe incels, red pill niggas, Christians, and then you have like the, you know what I'm saying, people that, you know, this side, this party with the red pill niggas, they're more right wing. The people with the, you know what I'm saying, modernity, that's more left wing, things of that nature. It's a lot of them just have such a black and white view of the world that they clash, obviously, because one person is super strong this way, one person is super strong this way, so of course they're not going to meet in the middle, right? The problem is that when you just have a world of black and white, how is it going to be great, my nigga? You need to have the ability to see nuances in life, and that not everybody's situation is the same. Yes, some people can have the traditional livelihood of like 4 kids, the dad's working like a tech job, he's a CEO, he's making bank, the wife gets to just stay at home, they live on a nice farm. You know, that's the dream life a lot of people want, but a lot of people live in apartments, they live in areas that aren't paying that well. Or they're living in areas that do pay well, but the expenses, the cost of living is so high that, you know, you both need to work, right? So I'm not going to clown that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people who grew up or who are watching this video have had both their parents have to work at some time to make ends meet. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to adapt to the situation. If you don't adapt, you get snuffed. That's just what I'm saying, right? All I'm saying is that you need to have a more nuanced way of looking at relationships and dating and, you know, things of that nature. Because if you use one experience to judge everything, then it's not gonna, you're gonna have a very flimsy worldview, right? That's why you need to have a lot of nuances. But yeah, I think I said what I need to say. I ain't gonna lie, because I don't want to turn this, when I do these type of dating videos and I'm surveying this, I don't want to turn this in just like a man bad, woman good, or woman bad, man good. I don't want to just do that. I want to give my own takes, be more nuanced. You know what I'm saying? Really try to speak some of that good wisdom. You know, I'm a youngin', right? You know what I'm saying? I'm a junior in high school and all that, trying to speak wisdom, trying to, you know, educate, you know what I'm saying? Or just share my thoughts and yeah, most likely a mixture. But that being said, man, shout out Misha Petrov for the video. But that being said, it's your boy Jay. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and stay blessed. Treat others how you want to be treated. Keep on learning. And yeah, I'm out.